WRSR, Owasso, Flint. The following program has been pre-recorded and is paid for by Discover Flint Township. The views expressed are those of Discover Flint Township and do not necessarily reflect the views of 103.9 The Fox or Krill Communications, Inc. Welcome to Discover Flint Township, a program showcasing our local community. Flint Township is ready for your next move. And now, your host, Flint Township Economic Enhancement Director, Tracy Tucker.
And this is Discover Flint Township, brought to you by Flint Township Economic Development Authorities, HAP, Financial Plus Credit Union, Shea Automotive Group, and 103.9 The Fox. We are wide awake, and we hope you are too. This morning, we are speaking with Bill Thena from Financial Plus Credit Union, and we will shine our business spotlight on Culvers. And we have Alex Witkowski with us from Culvers. He's sitting here with me, so, he gets mentioned extra. We will talk more about Culvers later, but let's get started with our first guest, Bill Thena from Financial Plus Credit Union. Hi, Bill. How are you today?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Great. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell our listeners what your role is at Financial Plus Credit Union?
Sure. My name is Bill Thena, as you said, and I am the Learning and Development Manager here at Financial Plus. So I focus a lot on career development and the training that goes into all the employees.
Oh, awesome. So what did you want to talk about today?
Well, I thought it'd be kind of interesting to talk a little bit about credit and credit reports, because that seems to be a topic that impacts a lot of people's lives and is a mystery for most people.
Yeah. That's an important topic too, Everybody's got one. It's kind of like opinions. Some are good and some are bad. But what exactly is a credit report? What exactly is a credit report?
That's a great question, because so what is a credit report? It's one of those things that these companies sit out there. They're called basically credit reporting agencies, and their job is to collect information about each and every one of us, which sounds a little Big Brother-ish, but in reality, they're just being given information from companies we deal with. So every bank, every credit union, businesses that you pay bills to on a regular basis can all interact with your credit bureau. And they're going to take all that information about where you've lived, where you've worked, what you've done throughout your life, and how well you pay your bills, and they're going to put that into a report. And that is essentially what all these businesses are looking at when they pull your credit report, is they're looking at a bunch of your personal information and what you've been doing with your finances.
So that's the kind of stuff that goes into a credit report, and that's how they calculate it, as well as taking whatever scores they're giving to these different parts, and that's how they create the score, or is how that's calculated?
I kind of say this. They take something that should be as simple as 2 + 2 = 4, but instead they take 2 + 2 and put it into some funky quadratic equation and come out with something much more complex than that. They're taking information, basically your credit report, to get your score is coming from 5 major areas.
So first of all, wait a minute. So first of all, they're using new math?
This is 100% new math. And if you try to show your work, you're probably going to fail. Well, and here's the fascinating thing, before we get into this. Your credit score is not part of your credit report. It's not even on there. And
nice.
Most people don't realize that. So what's happening is every business that pulls credit reports chooses what funky quadratic equation they want to use. So when they pull a report from a company like Experian or Equifax, the individual company might get a different number than the car dealership next to them or the credit card company across the country, because they're each using a different scoring model from your credit report.
Oh, that's kind of crazy.
So I could go to one credit union and get one number, and then go to a bank next door and get a completely different number, even though they pulled the same report.
Oh my goodness. So, okay. I don't even know how to respond to that. I guess. So, well, what do we do as a consumer to know what that score is? What does like if I go to, say I'm a member at Financial Plus, which I am, and I also have some accounts elsewhere, but I am a member at Financial Plus. So if I wanted to know what my credit score was, can I go to you and find it out?
The only way your individual banks or credit unions can pull your score is if you're applying for credit. Okay. So we can't see your information unless you're coming in to actually ask for a loan. You can go to the credit reporting agencies and request it. And in a little bit, I'll give you that information because it's very important you go to the right place to get your information.
Sure.
More importantly than just asking about what your score is knowing how you impact your score. There's 5 major areas that make up your score. And if you do well in each of these areas and understand them, that's how you're going to get the best score possible and really impact it the most. You want to think about, number one, your payment history. When you're thinking about making your payments, when you're looking at your loans, you want to make sure you keep your payment history good, making your payments on time. And on time means any time between the day it's due and 30 days after it's due. If you pay it within that time frame, your credit report's going to show okay. It's when you go beyond 30 days that you start getting into trouble with your payment history. The second thing they look at, and the second biggest factor on your score, is how much you owe. So I can make all the payments on time that I want, but if I owe lots and lots of money compared to how much I make, that's going to impact my score. They're going to look at how long you've had credit. So for somebody like me who is seasoned, we might say, I've had a longer credit report than somebody who might be 20 years old, right? And so that's going to show more positively.
I'm seasoned too. Maybe it's Pepper. I'm not sure.
Absolutely. So, lastly, they look at the type of credit you've got. And type of credit is broken down into 3 areas: real estate, so do I have a mortgage, secured loans like a car loan, and then unsecured loans like a credit card. And then finally, they look at, have you applied for new credit recently? So if I just got a car loan 3 weeks ago or a month ago, that's actually going to lower my score because it's new credit and nobody knows, are you going to pay it or aren't you going to pay it? Once I've made some payments on it, once I've gotten a few months into it, then that starts to impact me less. So that's what makes up my credit score, really.
All right. Okay. So, okay.
Hopefully that wasn't too boring.
No, you're fine. No, it's good information. Everybody needs to know about it. What if you're just starting out and you really don't have any credit built up? What's the best way to maybe try to build credit?
That's a really frustrating thing for a lot of young people because you go to apply for a loan and they say, well, you don't have any credit. And then you're like, well, how do I get credit without having credit, right?
Right.
So some companies, some of your banks and credit unions are starting to do programs that build credit for young people. And so, not to pitch us, but here's an example of a program, and several banks have something like this, where you can walk in and they will give you a loan for, let's say, $1,000. Right. And what they're doing is they're not giving you the $1,000. They're putting it into a savings account that you can't touch. And every month you make payments, at the end of the year, they give you your $1,000. So essentially, it's a way to build credit on your credit report that only can be positive. There's no way for it to turn negative for you. So at the end of a year, you now have credit.
Right.
So that's one way to do it. Another way that you can build credit is you can go on a loan with somebody who is more seasoned. So like a teenager might go on with their parent, and they do the loan together.
Right.
The positive is the young person's building credit. The negative is that is a loan on the parent's credit report.
Right.
So if I want to go apply for, if I want to go apply for a new loan, they're looking at this loan that my child's hopefully paying, right. And they're also impacting my income. So it could be a negative to the parent in the long run, but that's the risk that you're taking when you go on a loan with a new person.
Yeah, you just have to make sure they're paying it, or you've got to make the payment because you don't want it to impact your loan, your rating, right?
Yeah, there's no way to get around the fact that if the kid doesn't, if your child doesn't pay or the teenager doesn't pay, they're calling you to pay. So somebody's going to pay the loan.
Yeah. So I've got a tough one for you. How can somebody fix negative things that are on their report?
So this one's always kind of scary to me because you hear ads all the time on the radio or on TV or in Facebook and whatnot about, hey, click here and we'll help you fix your credit, or we'll boost your credit by this many points. The simplest way to fix your credit, number one, is to call the people when you're having problems. Every single bank, every single credit union wants to help you. They don't want to ruin your credit. They don't want your credit to look bad. They want to work with you on the loan. And 9 times out of 10, if you call your credit union and say, hey, I'm going to have trouble making my car loan this month, they will work with you so that doesn't report as a negative payment. The worst thing you can do is ignore the people you owe money to.
Right.
And so, so communication is the first way to start fixing things. The second thing that you can do to help some negative stuff on your credit report is to figure out whether or not you can simply pay it off. Oftentimes what we see on people's credit reports is you got turned over for collection, which is usually very bad, for $20 from, your cellular carrier.
Yeah.
Well, go pay the $20, right? That's a quick way to fix those kinds of things, and those are some areas where people get more concerned because they just simply didn't pay a little bill here, a little bill there. So going through and working with those people. The other thing you can do is actually pull a copy of your credit report yourself, which you're allowed to do. The government encouraged website for that is annualcreditreport.com. And that's the one the government backs. You go there and they will link you to the bureaus, and you can get a free copy of each of your credit reports from all the different bureaus every year. And you can look at it and see, is the information correct? Good example for myself, when I looked at my credit report a year ago, an address showed up on my credit report that I never lived at. That could, number one, be a sign of potential fraud, but it's also a sign that there's incorrect information. And so that's going to show to your credit score and the people you're trying to borrow from that this person moves around more, and that looks bad for you. So you can fix that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Way.
Oh, go ahead.
No, so you can look at your credit report, and if there's information that's incorrect, you can correct it. And that can bump your score several points, 10, 20 points sometimes, by just correcting little things that might be incorrect on your credit report.
Yeah, I had, and I need to go to one of these places, I guess, contact them. They were showing that I had changed jobs. I've been at the same job for 20 years almost. And it showed that I changed jobs 2 years ago, unbeknownst to me. And I think it had to do with the company went from doing in-house payroll to out-of-house payroll, not outhouse, but out-of-house payroll. And well, maybe it was outhouse. I don't know. But anyway, they changed that, and I think that changed who was reporting the income, and so it changed on his credit score. And it did knock down my credit score too from having a new job that I didn't have. So, so we've got. Let me tell you, we've got 1 minute left.
Go ahead.
So,
okay.
Any last thoughts? Anything that is crucial that people need to know?
I would say the most crucial thing that you need to know is your credit report and your credit score is going to follow you your entire life. You can't get things off of it if they are accurate. So be conscious when you borrow money. You know that you can pay it back. If you're going to get anything through a cell phone carrier, your internet, your utilities, that you're working with those people to make sure your payments are made and they're not reporting anything negative. Because once something gets on your credit report, it doesn't go away. Sure. And so I just encourage people to really be conscious of when they're using credit, make sure that they're using it responsibly.
Sure. And so if our listeners would like more information, what's the contact info for you, Bill? or for Financial
So the
Plus?
best place. The best thing they can do is, if they want to stop by a Financial Plus office, they can sit down with any of our financial service representatives or managers, and they will actually help you if you're applying for a loan, or if you want just guidance on how to build a budget or how to use your finances or fix something. They are more than willing to work with people and help them through these issues.
Great. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. And if people have any questions that they would like to have us answer on the air, you can send those questions to discoverflinttownship@gmail.com. Or like Bill said, if you have specific questions about this, you can go into any Financial Plus credit union in the area, or probably any of your local banks would be able to work with you if you're not a member of the credit union as well. So I want to thank you for joining us
Absolutely.
today, Bill. It was not the outhouse. It was actually a really good interview with some great information, because this is something that affects everybody. So I want to thank you, and we'll have somebody from Financial Plus on again in a couple weeks. So thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tracy. Bye-bye.
Okay, so we're going to transition into our business spotlight. Every week, we will be featuring a local Flint Township business. And today we have Alex Witkowski from Culvers. How are you today?
Good. How are you, Tracy?
I'm good. Why don't you introduce yourself and let everybody know what you do at Culvers?
So my name is Alex Witkowski, and I'm the owner-operator of the Culvers here on Miller Road in Flint Township.
That's awesome. Now, are you the only owner?
No, so I actually have a business partner. His name is Ross Fernandez, and he owns, I think, altogether 5. So he got in this first. He's definitely helped me out a ton to get where I'm at now. He's definitely, great business partner for sure.
Well, that's wonderful. You know, I met you a couple of years ago when you were trying to get the property in Flint Township. And I think I originally met with Ross.
Yes.
Okay. And then he brought this young guy in named Alex. And I was like, okay, Alex is looking for some property. So what made you look at Flint Township to begin with?
First, too, I remember that meeting, and I was super nervous going into all that. I was brand new to everything, but that's funny you remember that, too. I'll never forget that. Yeah. But I was looking at some other areas first, and honestly, things just didn't kind of make sense with what we were looking at. Trying to build the business, you got to have a lot of things that fall into place. And then actually Ross and another owner-operator, Jason, they were driving by. They seen that lot there on Miller Road. Mm-hmm. And then Ross and I went back, and we met with the owner, and just everything led up. Everything made sense. There's a lot that goes into making that decision where, it's a lot of money to invest and put somewhere. Right. So everything just kind of fell into place. And honestly, I'm glad it did. Miller Road's turned into home for me, and I love it there.
Well, it's high traffic volume, which helps you. Yeah. It was a good site. Yeah. It's a great site. I remember when you guys started looking at that spot, I had been working with the owner, Wilson LaHood, for many years, trying to get something on that property.
Now you got 2 there. You're good.
I know. We've got you, and then we've got McAllister's Deli is building there. So it changes that look right there. So I have mentioned already, my husband told me not to talk about how old you are because I'm old, and you are the age of my youngest. Yeah. So I won't tell anybody your age because, that's not right, because then you'll ask mine. But he is very young, and I know that it's great you have a mentor.
Yeah.
Ross. How did you meet Ross? How did you get the idea that, hey, I want to own a restaurant of my own? Because entrepreneurship is a wonderful thing. Yeah. And,
it's definitely, it all stems back to racing. Before this, I was actually a dirt bike racer.
Motocross, right?
Yep. I did more. I did a little bit of motocross, some indoor stuff, but mainly I did the off-road, like National Enduros and GCC, that type of thing, which we would do the jumps, but a lot of it's through the woods and trails. But I learned, anyway, a lot through that, and definitely sparked that business side of me, getting to work with the companies and the brands that sponsored me. But then anyway, it kind of turns into one of those stories where, things are meant to be. Like, actually at the time I had a broken wrist. I was sitting on the couch, and I don't like sitting around. And then told my girlfriend, I was like, hey, we got to go to a dirt bike race. So I found a little race in Battle Creek, like one I wouldn't have been in at the time. Drove up there. And then Ross was actually there. Ross, races in Michigan all over too for fun. Okay. And ended up meeting him there. He was just getting into Culvers at the time. I think just getting ready to go to his classes, getting ready to open up a WASO. And then anyway, we became friends, and all just through meeting him at a dirt bike race. And now a couple of years later, and we're business partners and running some Culver's restaurants.
That's funny. Just a side here. My husband's stepdad was a dirt bike racer years ago with Bart Markle. Okay. And I don't know if you know who that is, but he was a pretty big name in racing around here.
That's awesome.
So yeah. So, Culver's has been a great community partner, and I know you like being involved. And so what events have you guys been having at your store since you've opened? We
recently just did a share night with the Cavalier Band Boosters. They came down. It was a lot of fun. We had, I think, five or six volunteers, and we did it from 5 to 8 one night, and they came in and we donated a percentage of the profits just from that time.
Awesome.
Drive-through, dine-in, and they did a good job at marketing themselves, having a lot of the band people come in and people from the school. But it was fun. They volunteered. We ran food together.
Yeah. I saw that on Facebook. I saw them advertising on Facebook, and then I saw the results. They were extremely happy. So
they made good money from it. But they put the work in too and made sure a lot of people showed up. So it was a win-win for sure.
That's awesome. So for those who haven't visited Culver's yet, and I don't know why you wouldn't have, because I had a ton of people, when's Culver's coming? When are we getting Culver's? When are we getting Culver's? So now that we have a Culver's, we want everybody to go and try it out. Why don't you tell everyone where you're located?
Yeah, we're at 4034 on Miller Road. The side street right there is Ketzler, and we're right across the street from the mattress firm.
Okay. So if you're coming out to go pet shopping at Petco, not Petco, PetSmart, it's right across the street too. So it's all right there. And I know we have the COVID that we're all dealing with, but you have a drive-through, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, because I noticed that's pretty busy a lot.
Yeah, we try to keep our drive-through moving the best we can. The different thing that anybody that's not used to Culver's, they might see that we still take their order. We try to push that line through the best we can, but then actually after the window when you pay, then we park the cars with the number, and then that's when so everything at Culver's is made fresh.
Right.
So instead of handing the food right at the window, it does take a couple extra minutes.
Right.
But we make sure we ensure that.
Oh yeah, you don't want
fresh.
that burger sitting around.
Exactly, everything's made fresh in the kitchen.
It's called a butter burger.
Butter burger, yeah.
The better butter burger.
The better butter burger. The tongue twister.
So, but people can come in too, or no?
Yeah, we're still limited with seating. We don't have all the tables open yet, but you can come in, place your order at the register, and you can dine in with us as well right now. Okay,
and so. Oh, wait. Did I ask you what your hours are? No, I didn't. What are your hours?
We're open every day, Monday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m.
10 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day?
Every day.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So I think they're most known for their butter burger, right?
Yeah, butter burgers and frozen custard.
Frozen. That's what my husband's like. I get the custard.
That's good stuff.
And I think it was Johnny Burke here, and it might have been Andre, who are DJs here at 103.9 The Fox. They were like, did you bring me some custard? But what's your favorite?
Ooh, it's tough. I switch it up. Probably depends on the day. And then I'm there eating it so much. I do try to pick the healthier options too. And honestly, Culver's has a huge menu that people don't realize. Like a lot of our chicken items, whether it's a chicken tenders, chicken sandwich. Honestly, our salad's really good too. A lot of times I try to, like if it's lunch, and so I don't eat, 2 butter burgers and a big thing of custard, I'll be knocked out. So I'll try to go for something lighter. I'll try to get a salad or something like that.
Right, because they have options. Yeah, I mean, you have a full menu. I mean, there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
I thought it was so cool when I went in, and you actually have a machine that actually makes the custard, right?
Yes.
It's not like you're not just dipping it out?
No, it's a process, and custard's not easy. It's very to get. I mean, top quality custard like we want it every time. It's a machine that you really have to deal with and make sure it's tempered just right, because otherwise, you don't want it too drainy or like dry. So you got to make sure it's a perfect consistency, and definitely takes the right manager or team member to make sure it's coming out like we want it.
So you talk about your managers and team members. When you came to the area, you had to hire. How many people did you have to hire? We hired quite a few. Right now we normally stay around the same, but we've got 5 managers right now. GM, and on total we've got about 48, 50 people. Wow. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And so did you have a hard time finding workers, or were you slammed with so many applications you didn't know what to do?
Like in the beginning, we had to put work in for sure. I'm not gonna lie, the first day we did interviews, I was nervous. Like not that many people showed up. Just to be honest. Yeah. So it was stressful. That's an issue is finding talent. So that's why I'm asking. So that was just finding numbers was a struggle at first, but then me and the team, luckily, thanks to my managers too, they did an amazing job of setting up things on Facebook and just all kinds of different ads to the schools. We ended up getting a really good turnout. Sure. And then everything just kept building. And by the time, luckily we stayed proactive, and by the time we got to opening, we had plenty of people and some really good, talented people as well. That's good.
And I'll remind our listeners that if you're looking for help trying to find applicants for jobs, or you have job openings and having difficulty, call me at the office, and we'll try to help you out. We have worked doing job fairs and stuff in the past to help businesses, and we will post them on our Facebook page too if you have applications you're looking for. So any last thoughts? We got about a minute left.
No, I just appreciate honestly everything. I say like I said earlier, Miller Road's become a home for me, and I'm really appreciative of it. All the team members that work there, all the managers, and even all the guests. There's a lot of options to eat on Miller Road, and honestly, every time a car comes in, somebody's through the drive-through or somebody's walking in, I'm truly appreciative that they chose Culvers that day. I want to stay that way and serve them the best we can.
Sure. And you know what? That's a great point. Is there's so many options, but we love having you here. And I'm so happy that you came in, and we're going to do a video tour of the restaurant, and we'll have that on YouTube as well. And so I think that's it for us today. I want to thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thank you as well.
I'm going to say that again because I think I already said that. I kind of lose my mind when it gets to the end of an interview. But I want to remind everybody that if you have any questions for us, please email discoverflinttownship@gmail.com or visit us on Facebook at Flint Township Events. You can find all of our shows on our YouTube channel, Discover Flint Township, and we'll also have videos on there of our tours of different businesses now going forward. And if you'd like information on available properties or other information about Flint Township, you can visit our web pages, discoverflinttownship.com or flinttownship.org. And I would once again like to thank everyone for listening today, and thanks to our guests, Bill and Alex. It's been fun. And thanks to our partners, HAP, Shea Automotive Group, Financial Plus Credit Union, and 103.9 The Fox. And next Sunday, we will have Shea on and Dion Oliver from Guaranteed Rate. This is Tracy Tucker, the Flint Township Economic Enhancement Director. And I would like to remind everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, shop local, buy local, and discover Flint Township. See you later.
This has been Discover Flint Township with Tracy Tucker. For more information, visit discoverflinttownship.com. Flint Township is ready for your next move. The preceding program was pre-recorded and was paid for by Discover Flint Township. The views expressed are those of Discover Flint Township and do not necessarily reflect the views of 103.9 The Fox or Krill Communications, Inc.